Welcome back, the rare and valuable coins. Today, we're diving deep into the world of Lincoln Wheat Penny. Coins value in today's market. First up, the 1952 Abraham Lincoln Wheat Penny, a coin from the Lincoln Wheat Cent series, and its value in today's market. This penny has no mint mark, and it's in fine condition, so let's explore its design, history, and what it's worth today. Let's get started. The 1952 Lincoln Wheat Penny was struck at a time of post-war recovery in the United States. The country was moving forward after the end of World War II, with rapid economic growth and an expanding middle class. The coin was produced by the U.S. Mint, with millions being minted in Philadelphia, as this particular coin has no mint mark, meaning it was minted there. The Lincoln Wheat Penny series, which ran from 1909 to 1958, features President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, a design by Victor David Brenner. The reverse side displays two stalks of wheat, a design that symbolizes the country's agricultural roots. Now let's take a closer look at the design of the 1952 Lincoln Wheat Penny. On the obverse, we have Abraham Lincoln's portrait facing right. The legend around the edge reads, "In God We Trust," and you'll notice the year 1952 just below Lincoln's portrait. On the reverse, you can see two stalks of wheat, framing the words 1 cent in the center. The words E pluribus unum, which mean out of many one, are also inscribed, reflecting the unity of the United States. Since this particular penny has no mint mark, it was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, and there's no additional mint mark next to the wheat stalks. This 1952 Lincoln Wheat Penny is in fine condition, which means it has moderate wear. The details are still visible, but some of the finer details like Lincoln's hair and the wheat stalks might be a bit worn. The lettering and design are still legible, and the coin retains its basic shape without major damage. In fine condition, you can see the wear from circulation, but it still holds a strong visual appeal for collectors. It's not in mint or uncirculated condition, but it's far from being in poor or damaged shape. So, what's the value of a 1952 Lincoln Wheat Penny? In fine condition today, the value of this penny is approximately $80 to $100 in fine condition on the current market. Although it may not be worth a lot of money in this condition, it's still a piece of history and an important coin for collectors. If this coin were in a higher grade, such as uncirculated, its value could be much higher, reaching $200 to $300. However, even in fine condition, this penny holds its own among collectors, especially those who are putting together a complete wheat penny collection. The 1952 Lincoln Wheat Penny is a popular coin for collectors, especially for those who focus on the Lincoln Wheat Cent series. Even though it's not as rare as some other years, it's still a coin that holds significant interest for both new and experienced collectors alike. Many collectors enjoy finding pennies from the early years of the Lincoln Wheat series, as it represents a key part of U.S. coinage history. If you're collecting by year or mint mark, the 1952 penny is a nice addition, especially in decent condition like this one. The 1940 Abraham Lincoln Wheat Penny, with an S mint mark, in fine condition. We'll dive into its historical significance, design, and of course, its value in today's market. So, let's get started. To understand the significance of the 1940 Lincoln Wheat Penny, we need to go back to the year it was minted. The year 1940 was a pivotal time in American history. The country was still recovering from the Great Depression, and World War II was looming. The Lincoln Wheat Cent series had been around for over 30 years by 1940, and the coins from this era reflect a sense of hope and renewal. The 1940 penny was struck in large quantities, and the S mint mark indicates it was produced at the San Francisco Mint, one of the key mints for U.S. coinage. Let's take a closer look at the design. On the obverse side, we see the famous portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by artist Victor David Brenner. This design has been used on the penny since its introduction in 1909. Lincoln faces left, and the words, "In God We Trust," are inscribed above. The 1940 date is displayed prominently just beneath his shoulder, along with the S mint mark, indicating it was struck at the San Francisco Mint. On the reverse side, we see the iconic wheat stalks symbolizing America's agricultural heritage. The coin proudly features the phrase E pluribus unum, and the 1 cent inscription at the bottom. This reverse design, also created by Brenner, is widely regarded as one of the most recognizable in American coinage history. This particular coin is in fine condition, which means that while it shows noticeable wear, the design elements are still fairly clear. In fine condition, you can still see the main features of Lincoln's face and the wheat stalks on the reverse. The coin's details, like the Liberty inscription, the "In God We Trust" lettering, and the date, are still visible, but they have been worn down with age and circulation. Coins in fine condition typically have moderate wear, but the surfaces are still relatively smooth, and the overall design is legible. This makes the 1940 Lincoln wheat penny with the S mint mark a great piece for collectors who appreciate its historical significance and aesthetic appeal without the need to shell out top dollar for a perfect example. Now, let's talk about the market value of the 1940 Lincoln wheat penny with S mint mark. In fine condition, this penny typically ranges in value from 75 cents to $3. While this coin is not as rare or valuable as some of the other Lincoln wheat pennies, the S mint mark adds a bit of extra interest for collectors, as San Francisco minted pennies from this era are always sought after. However, if the coin were in higher grades, such as very fine or extremely fine, its value could increase to around $1,000, depending on the quality and demand. The 1940 penny in uncirculated condition with its pristine details would fetch a higher price, but for this fine condition example, you're looking at a more modest price. So why is the 1940 Lincoln wheat penny with S mint mark so appealing to collectors? First, it's an integral part of the Lincoln Wheat Cent series, which is one of the most collected and cherished series of U.S. coins. While the 1940 penny is not rare in terms of mintage, it remains a key date in the series for collectors who focus on different mint marks. Additionally, the San Francisco Mint struck a relatively smaller quantity of pennies compared to Philadelphia and Denver, so any coin with the S mint mark is generally viewed as a bit more desirable. Collectors also appreciate coins from this era for their historical value, as they offer a direct connection to pre-World War II America, a time of great change. Next up, the 1958 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny, featuring the large date and D mint mark, with a gorgeous full red color shade in very fine condition. Let's take a closer look at its design, history, and most importantly, its value in today's market. So let's get started. Produced in 1958, this Lincoln wheat penny was minted at a time when the United States was well into the post-Wabihurut era. The country was experiencing significant economic growth and prosperity during the 1950s, making it an exciting time for collectors and coin enthusiasts alike. The 1958 penny marks the final year of the Lincoln Wheat Cent series, which ran from 1909 to 1958. This penny is particularly significant as it's the last of the iconic wheat designs before the Lincoln Memorial design took over in 1959. Let's talk about the design of the 1958 Lincoln wheat penny. On the obverse, you'll find the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln faces left, with the inscription, "In God We Trust" above, and the year 1958 clearly visible just below Lincoln's bust. This particular coin features the large date, which was a characteristic of coins minted in this year. On the reverse, the classic wheat stalks appear, with the words 1 cent at the center. This coin also has the words E pluribus unum inscribed along the top. What makes this coin stand out is the D mint mark, located near the bottom right of the reverse side, signifying it was minted at the Denver Mint. Now, let's not forget the most striking feature of this penny. It's in full red color shade, which means it has retained its original copper luster, and its color is vibrant and rich. The coin is in very fine condition, meaning it has some wear, but the details are still sharp, especially the wheat stalks and Lincoln's portrait. This 1958 Lincoln wheat penny is in very fine condition. The very fine grade means that the coin has been circulated but still retains much of its detail. Lincoln's features are clear, though you may notice a slight amount of wear, especially on his hair, and the finer details of the wheat stalks on the reverse. The red color is still fully intact, which is a key feature that adds to the value of this coin. Now, the burning question. What is the value of a 1958 Lincoln wheat penny in very fine condition with a D mint mark and full red color shade? In today's market, this penny can be worth anywhere from $800 in very fine condition, depending on the demand from collectors and the specific characteristics of the coin. Coins with a full red color are typically more sought after, as they are rarer and more desirable for collectors. Now, if this coin were in uncirculated or mint state condition, its value could be significantly higher, closer to $1,000. However, for a coin in very fine condition, the 1958 Lincoln wheat penny with D mint mark and a full red color shade is still a solid find for any collector. The 1958 Lincoln wheat penny is an iconic coin in U.S. numismatics, and being the last year of the wheat penny series, it holds special significance for collectors. Wheat pennies have been a favorite among coin enthusiasts for generations, and the 1958 marks the end of this chapter in U.S. coinage history. Next up, the 1941 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny. This coin, despite being in good condition and without a mint mark, still has its appeal. We'll explore its history, features, and its current market value. Let's get into it. Before we jump into the details, let's talk a bit about the historical backdrop of this penny. The 1941 Lincoln wheat penny was struck in a time of transition. It was a year before the United States entered World War II, and tensions around the world were building. On the home front, the American economy was still recovering from the Great Depression, and the U.S. Mint was busy producing coins for daily circulation. The Lincoln Wheat Cent series had been in circulation since 1909, and the 1941 penny marked another year of this beloved series. It features the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, one of the most iconic figures in U.S. history. Let's take a closer look at the design of this penny. On the obverse, we have the classic image of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. This is the same design that's been on the penny since its debut in 1909. Lincoln faces left, and the word Liberty is inscribed to the left of his portrait with In God We Trust above. The year of minting. 1941 is clearly marked to the right. This particular 1941 Lincoln wheat penny is in good condition, meaning it shows some wear but still retains its major details. You can clearly read the inscriptions, and both Lincoln's portrait and the wheat stalks on the reverse are still recognizable. In good condition, you might see some light scratches or discoloration, but overall, the coin is still in decent shape for its age. Now, let's talk about the value of this coin in today's market. A 1941 Lincoln wheat penny, in good condition, like the one we're looking at today, is valued around $600. While it's not a rare coin, it still holds some appeal due to its association with the Lincoln Wheat Cent series and its historical context. If this penny were in better condition, like very fine or extra fine, it could fetch $700. If you were lucky enough to find one in uncirculated condition, you could expect it to be worth $1,000 or more. But in good condition, the price remains modest, making it accessible for most collectors. So what makes the 1941 Lincoln wheat penny interesting to collectors? Well, even though it's not as rare as some other coins in the series, it's still a significant part of the Lincoln Wheat Cent series. Many collectors seek to complete a set of Lincoln wheat pennies spanning the years from 1909 to 1958, and this 1941 penny is a key part of that set. Next up, the 1951 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny, featuring the large date and an S mint mark, all in fine condition. Stick around as we dive into its history, design, and most importantly, its value in today's market. Let's get started. The 1951 Lincoln wheat penny was struck during a very interesting time in American history. The early 1950s were marked by the end of World War II, and the United States was rapidly growing into a global superpower. The Lincoln Wheat Cent series had been in circulation for over 40 years by this time, and in 1951, it was still a popular coin among everyday Americans. This particular coin is significant as it was minted as part of the post-World War II era and features some key characteristics of the period, including the large date style. Let's take a closer look at the design of this coin. On the obverse, we have the classic image of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln faces left, with the phrase "In God We Trust" inscribed above, and the year 1951 clearly displayed just below his portrait. This coin features the large date variety, which was a distinguishing feature of pennies, minted in 1951. On the reverse, we see the iconic wheat stalks, with E pluribus unum inscribed along the top, and the words 1 cent in the center. The S mint mark, located near the bottom of the reverse, indicates that this penny was minted at the San Francisco Mint, which is one of the key features collectors look for in this year's issue. This 1951 Lincoln wheat penny is in fine condition, which means it has seen some circulation but still retains a lot of its key details. You can still see Abraham Lincoln's face clearly, with only moderate wear to the finer details, such as Lincoln's hair and the wheat stalks on the reverse. There's noticeable wear on the high points of the coin, but overall, the design elements are still well defined. In fine condition, the coin is still a great piece to add to any collection. So, how much is the 1951 Lincoln wheat penny with the large date and S mint mark worth in today's market? In fine condition, this penny is valued at about $1,000. The condition of the coin plays a big role in its value. Coins with full red color or in uncirculated condition can command much higher prices, but this fine condition still makes it a solid find for collectors. If this coin were in extremely fine or uncirculated condition, its value would be considerably higher. For example, an uncirculated 1951 Lincoln wheat penny with an S mint mark could be worth anywhere from $1,200 depending on its quality. But for fine condition, the value generally ranges from $1,500. Despite its relatively modest market value, the 1951 Lincoln wheat penny is still a favorite among collectors. The S mint mark adds to its appeal as the San Francisco Mint was one of the main producers of pennies in the 1950s. This particular year is also sought after by those working to complete their Lincoln wheat cent collection. For collectors, the large date variety in fine condition is a nice piece to own. While it might not be the rarest coin out there, its historical significance and classic design make it a popular choice for coin enthusiasts. The S mint mark version, like the one we're talking about today, has a little extra value for collectors specifically focused on mint variety. Next up, the 1946 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny, which holds significance for collectors, even in dirty condition with a black color shade. We'll discuss its historical background, its unique features, and of course, its value in today's market. Let's get started. To truly appreciate the 1946 Lincoln wheat penny, we need to consider the historical context. The year 1946 marked a turning point for the United States. America had just emerged victorious from World War II, and the country was transitioning into an era of peace and prosperity. People were returning to civilian life, and the economy began to recover from the wartime strain. The Lincoln Wheat Cent series, which had been in circulation since 1909, continued to be a staple of American currency in the post-war years. This 1946 penny, struck in Philadelphia, is part of that legacy. Let's take a closer look at the design. On the obverse, we see the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. This design has been featured on the penny since its debut in 1909. Lincoln faces left, and the words, "In God We Trust" are inscribed above, with "Liberty" to the left and 1946 to the right, marking the coin's year of minting. On the reverse, the coin features 2 stalks of wheat, symbolizing America's agricultural heritage, along with the phrase "E pluribus unum" and 1 cent at the bottom. This design, also created by Brenner, is one of the most beloved in U.S. coinage history. Now, let's talk about the condition of this coin. This 1946 Lincoln wheat penny is in dirty condition, with a noticeable black color shade. This often occurs when a coin has been exposed to certain elements like dirt, oils, or moisture over a long period of time. The black color you see is likely the result of oxidation or other environmental factors. Coins in this dirty condition can be less desirable to collectors who prefer clean, uncirculated examples. However, even in dirty condition, coins like this one still hold some historical value, as their rarity and association with the Lincoln Wheat Cent series make them a notable part of U.S. coinage. Now let's get into the market value of the 1946 Lincoln Wheat Penny. In dirty condition, especially with a black color shade, this penny typically holds a value of around $250. While the value isn't high due to the dirt and wear, it still has appeal for collectors who are interested in the Lincoln Wheat Cent series. However, if this penny were in cleaner or better condition, like fine or very fine, its value could rise to $350. And if you're lucky enough to find one in uncirculated condition, you could see values reaching $500 or more, though that's quite rare. So, why do collectors still show interest in the 1946 Lincoln Wheat Penny, even in dirty condition? For one, it's a part of the highly collected Lincoln Wheat Cent series, which is one of the most popular coin series in American numismatics. The Lincoln penny has had a long history of being a favorite among collectors, and 1946 pennies hold particular appeal due to their post-Lotpao significance. Even though this coin has seen better days, collectors often appreciate it as a part of their complete set of wheat pennies, or for its nostalgic connection to the 1940s. While it may not be a rare or highly valuable coin in its current state, it still holds value as a piece of American history. Next up, the 1950 Abraham Lincoln Wheat Penny without mint mark and in very fine condition. Let's explore its history, features, and most importantly, its value in today's market. Let's get started. The 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny was minted in an exciting era. The 1950s was a time of post-war growth in the United States. People were optimistic, the economy was booming, and the country was transitioning into a new era of prosperity. This penny was produced right in the heart of the Lincoln Wheat Cent series, which had been circulating for over 40 years. By the time this coin hit the market, on the obverse, we see Abraham Lincoln's profile, designed by Victor David Brenner. The phrase "Liberty" is prominently displayed to the left of his portrait, with the motto, "In God We Trust," just above. The year of minting, 1950, is clearly visible to the right of Lincoln's image. Turning to the reverse, we find two stalks of wheat, which represent the agricultural backbone of the United States at the time. Below the wheat stalks is the inscription 1 cent, and the Latin phrase "E pluribus unum" appears above. It's a simple yet elegant design that has become one of the most beloved in U.S. coinage history. This particular 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny is in very fine condition. In very fine grade, the coin shows some light wear, but most of the details are still well preserved. You can clearly see Lincoln's features in the wheat stalks, and the inscriptions are sharp and legible. In this condition, the coin may show a bit of wear on Lincoln's hair, some smoothing on the high points of the design, and perhaps some slight fading on the wheat stalks, but overall, it retains a lot of its original detail and is a great example of a coin that's been circulated but still in excellent shape for its age. Now, let's talk about the value of this coin in today's market. A 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny in very fine condition is valued between $250. While this is not a particularly rare coin, its condition still makes it appealing to collectors, especially those looking to complete their Lincoln Wheat Cent series. If this penny were in a higher grade, such as extra fine or uncirculated, its value would increase to around $300. However, in very fine condition, it still holds significant interest for collectors, especially those who appreciate coins that show signs of circulation but have not been heavily worn down. So, why is the 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny still in demand among collectors? While it's not a rare coin, it is a key piece for anyone working on completing their Lincoln Wheat Cent series, which spans from 1909 to 1958. Collectors are also drawn to the historical significance of these coins. The 1950 penny was minted in a period of post-war growth, and it serves as a snapshot of everyday American life during the 1950s. Plus, the Lincoln Wheat Cent series is one of the most popular and widely collected in U.S. numismatics. Next up, the 1947 Abraham Lincoln Wheat Penny, without a mint mark, in good condition. We'll dive into its historical context, design, and most importantly, its current value. So, let's get started. Let's set the scene. The 1947 Lincoln Wheat Penny was minted in a time of recovery and change. World War II had just ended, and America was stepping into an era of rapid growth and prosperity. The Lincoln Wheat Cent series had been around for over 3 decades by this point, and the 1947 penny carries its own special place in American numismatics. With a mintage of over 1 billion coins, the 1947 Lincoln Wheat Penny is considered one of the more common coins in the series, but that doesn't make it any less fascinating for collectors. Now, let's take a closer look at the design of this classic penny. On the obverse, we see the beloved Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln faces left, with the words, "In God We Trust" inscribed above. The year 1947 is prominently displayed just below Lincoln's portrait. This design has been a staple on American coins since 1909, and it's one of the most recognizable depictions of the 16th president. On the reverse, we see the iconic wheat stalks, symbolizing America's agricultural roots. Above the wheat stalks is the phrase "E pluribus unum," and the coin proudly states 1 cent at the bottom. Since this penny was minted without a mint mark, it means it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which was the primary mint for pennies during this era. This particular 1947 Lincoln Wheat penny is in good condition. In this state, you'll notice some moderate wear and aging, especially around the high points of the design, such as Lincoln's beard hair and the wheat stalks on the reverse. While the finer details are worn down, you can still clearly make out the inscriptions and the overall shape of the coin. A coin in good condition typically has smooth surfaces with a bit of wear, but enough detail to make the image recognizable and distinct. Now, let's talk about the value of this 1947 Lincoln Wheat Penny. In good condition, this penny is valued at around $400 in today's market. While this is not one of the most valuable coins in the Lincoln Wheat Cent series, it still holds sentimental and historical value for collectors. In very fine or extremely fine condition, the value can rise a bit higher, reaching around $550 depending on the quality of the coin. So, while this coin may not bring in a fortune, it's still a great piece to own if you're looking to complete your wheat penny collection. Now, if you have this coin in uncirculated condition, or if it has some rare errors or unique features, you could see a more significant increase in value. But for the good condition version, the range I've mentioned is a typical price in today's market. So, what makes the 1947 Lincoln Wheat Penny so appealing to collectors? Well, even though it's a relatively common coin, it's still a piece of history. Many collectors are drawn to the Lincoln Wheat Cent series because of its enduring legacy and classic design. If you're a beginner collector or working on completing a set of Lincoln Wheat pennies, this 1947 penny is a solid and affordable choice. Coins without mint marks from the Philadelphia Mint are also particularly sought after, and having a 1947 Lincoln Wheat Penny in good condition is a great way to add another milestone to your collection. It's a perfect coin to showcase the ongoing history of American currency, and it remains one of the foundational pieces of any numismatist's collection. In conclusion, the 1947 Lincoln Wheat Penny without a mint mark, in good condition, is valued between $700 in today's market. While it might not be the rarest or the most expensive coin, it's still a cherished piece for collectors and a nice addition to any collection. The classic design and historical significance of this penny continue to make it a popular choice among coin enthusiasts. Next up, the 1948 Abraham Lincoln Wheat Penny without a mint mark, in fine condition. We'll explore its history, design features, and most importantly, its current value in today's market. Let's dive in. To understand the 1948 Lincoln Wheat Penny, let's first take a step back in time. The year 1948 was an important year in post-World War II America. The country was recovering from the Great Depression and World War II, and the 1940s marked a time of economic growth and stability. This was also the year the Lincoln Wheat Cent was still circulating in American wallets, and was part of a series that ran from 1909 to 1958, struck by the U.S. Mint. The 1948 penny became a part of everyday life for millions of Americans. As we move on, let's take a closer look at its design. On the obverse of the coin, we see the well-known profile of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln's portrait is flanked by the inscriptions "Liberty" to the left, and the phrase "In God We Trust" above his head. The year of mintage, 1948, is positioned to the right of Lincoln's image. The 1948 Lincoln Wheat penny without a mint mark was minted in Philadelphia, as indicated by the lack of a mint mark. This is important for collectors because it tells us that this penny came from the main minting facility, and that helps establish its place in the larger series. Now, let's talk about the condition of this coin. The 1948 Lincoln Wheat penny in fine condition shows moderate wear but still retains much of its detail. The features of Lincoln's face are still visible, but there is some smoothing, especially on his hair and beard. The wheat stalks on the reverse are also visible but slightly worn. The inscriptions are clear but not as sharp as they would be on a higher-grade coin. In fine condition, the coin retains its overall character, but with visible signs of wear from circulation. This makes it a great example of a coin that was once in circulation but still offers a good amount of. Let's talk about the value of the 1948 Lincoln Wheat penny in today's market. In fine condition, this coin is generally worth around 30 cents to $1. It's a very affordable coin, especially for those looking to start or expand their Lincoln Wheat cent collection. If the coin were in higher grades, such as extra fine or uncirculated, its value could rise to $2 to $5. However, in fine condition, this coin remains a popular and affordable piece for collectors who appreciate the historical significance of the Lincoln Wheat cent series. So, why does the 1948 Lincoln Wheat cent penny continue to hold interest for collectors? While it may not be as rare as some other coins in the series, it is still a key part of the Lincoln Wheat cent collection. This penny serves as a reminder of post-war America, and the design has made it a popular coin among collectors of all levels. Collectors enjoy completing their Lincoln Wheat cent series, which ran from 1909 to 1958. For many, the 1948 penny is a crucial piece in that journey. It's not just about the value, it's about the history and the legacy of the series. In conclusion, the 1948 Lincoln Wheat penny, in fine condition, is valued at around 30 cents to $1 in today's market. While not a rare find, it remains an important and cherished part of the Lincoln Wheat cent series, and it's a great coin for collectors of all kinds. Thanks for tuning in to Valuable Coins. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more insights on rare and valuable coins. Do you have a 1948 Lincoln Wheat penny in your collection? Drop a comment below and let's chat about it. Until next time, happy collecting.